And we're back with another episode of What's Hockey. We got a lot to get into in a short amount of time, so let's hurry it up and jump straight into it. Keaton, around that hockey, what has happened in the last week?
Looks like a coach got fired. Bruins head coach Jim Montgomery, who is a doppelganger for Sheldon Keefe, has been fired from the Bruins. Been replaced by Joe Sacco. Got himself the Sacco by starting things off by a mediocre season.
Mediocre season,
they could have reached the Stanley Cup had it been the Panthers last year. I mean, they played a pretty good series. He's not a bad coach. I believe overall he went 120, 41, and 23 for the Bruins. Like, that's not really bad at all. But
yeah, it's pretty solid.
Obviously, they're not winning the Cup every year. So, I mean, I guess things have to change.
They lost to the eventual champions, but I guess slow start for Jim Montgomery. I always think something else is going on behind the scenes with Jim Montgomery, though. When he was fired from the Stars in his first year,
sketch.
I mean, he was doing fantastic, but he admitted there was an alcohol problem he had.
Probably doing drugs.
And it might not be fair. He could be totally sober right now. But, dude, yeah, there's just always something going on. How do you, start? I know the season was not a great start, but there are teams who have started way worse who are projected to get into the playoffs. Like the Avs, for example.
Like the Red Wings, Pet.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean,
but
he immediately a question.
And you know what? Montgomery immediately finds a job. Where's he at now, Keaton?
He's with the Blues, the St. Louis Blues. He's ousted Drew Bannister, which is pretty ridiculous that we'll just fire this guy because Jim Montgomery's available. I mean, like we said, he's a good coach. He's not too bad, and old boy even got the win last night against the Rangers. But
well, it's funny too because the Blues, they don't have high expectations in my mind. They're doing very average in a tough division, and their head coach had been named the head coach within the last 7 months or so. And then in some article, the GM says, "Oh, we weren't looking at firing him until Jim Montgomery became available." Get out of here with that trash. At
least give him a chance. It's not even fair to the guy.
It was not a fair shake at all, to be honest. That team again, they have.
And he's just completely out of a job. Do you know if he even is an assistant anymore or anything like that? He's just out.
I think he's out. I don't think he was demoted.
That's trash.
Yeah.
I mean, you might as well just take a demotion because you were already what you were before because he was the interim coach beforehand, right? Or something like that.
He was the interim, yeah.
It's nonsense,
he was just straight fired after 9-12-1 start.
If you trust him enough to become your head coach after the interim process, I mean, I just don't understand why you wouldn't want to just keep it on.
Dude, 9-12-1, I get that's not great. That's better than what the Predators are doing, and the Preds are supposed to have high expectations after, signing some big players.
They're 9-12-1. They lost to the Red Wings.
That's a 1 or 2 game difference from Edmonton, and it's 1 or 2, it's probably 2 or 3, because they play different amounts of games from Vancouver.
I mean, it is
it's close to
a little
Seattle,
bit brighter in Edmonton as far as hockey is concerned, though. Just because they've got the players to do it.
I get it, but I'm just saying there are a large amount of teams.
At least St. Louis is a better city.
I suppose. I mean, here's your favorite city, Philadelphia, and they're rocking a 9-10-3 at this point.
My favorite city.
Yeah,
it's always sunny there.
It is always sunny. And also, what was Montgomery's record this year? It's nearly identical. So I don't know, man. I don't know what.
Just to mix up fresh faces, let's see what happens.
It's been 7 months. How stale did it get there?
What? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I just meant Bruins in general and then just swapping around, getting some shit
To be
done.
fair, too, Montgomery is a good coach. I don't care about this beginning to this season. I heard that there was talks that Boston had a slow camp to begin with. They had star players not coming in. All right, complete speculation there.
Is not.
But I honestly think the Blues did get a good coach. Again, don't think they gave him a fair shake, and I don't get what the Bruins were doing firing Montgomery that quickly. But hey, whatever. Montgomery moves on, and
I mean,
we'll
they've
see
had him
what.
for a while,
It's
at
been
least
3 years, right? 2 years.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
with 120, 41, and 23, that sounds like just over 2 years, and then this year. So yeah,
I don't understand how all his
doing a partial.
tenures, every stop he has, ends so quickly. But
He's probably doing crack, but not
you
really.
gotta stop saying that, dog. You gotta stop saying that. All right, moving on to the next story. What you got for me?
Yeah, so Alex Ovechkin, great start to his season. Unfortunately, is out 4 to 6 weeks. That was announced like last week on Wednesday or something. So pretty wild. I think there was some story where he went to like media and didn't even have a boot and just limped around. It's fucking wild. I don't know. That guy's a machine, clearly, but. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're like putting metal in his leg, and he's just having to get used to it with his limp.
They're
And
replacing the metal in his leg. He is a robot.
yeah,
Dog.
yeah,
It sucks.
doing
Like we
some
talked
extra
about
shit.
it. Yeah, man. We talked about it on past podcasts on like what a run he's on, and it could be an incredible season.
I think he's
Uh,
still third right now as far as goals, but I mean,
is he?
you know,
I only
yeah,
look
I
at
think the
Brett.
other top two are 16, unless things changed overnight. I don't know. Um,
Yeah, but
but yeah,
regardless, I
I
mean, like
mean,
that sucks. He's third. 1 and 2, Reinhardt and Draisaitl both have 16 goals. Ovechkin with 15.
just like I said,
Dude, that
it's
sucks,
crazy.
man. That he was on pace for a historic season, and I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to play, all 82, maybe get to like 70
I mean,
games
sure,
or
rest a
so.
few games,
Sure,
but it
exactly.
sucks
I
that
mean,
he's
you'd
now out four to
assume,
six weeks.
yeah,
Yeah,
you'd assume there was going to be some rest, but this
that's
just
a big chunk of the season.
that's at least a month, man, a month and a half. I'm sure he's going to try to get on the ice
He's
quicker
probably
than
going to
that, but he
be
should.
on the ice within 2 weeks. We'll see.
Bro, his bones can't heal that quick. Yeah, that sucks. That's a big
Yeah,
blow to one of the more exciting storylines in the NHL this season.
yeah, pretty wild. Related injury news: Austin Matthews is still out. He was supposed to come back last Sunday, but apparently was not good to go. They've doing pretty well without him, going 4-1-0 over the last 5 games without him. I think he last skated November 9th. So, I mean, yeah, pretty good. They took a bad loss to Ottawa, but overall they took good wins against the Capitals, Oilers, Golden Knights, and even the Hockey Club, and those are pretty solid teams. So
Dude,
could be like what we were saying, how the Senators are just a bad game, not in the right mindset, and just take a
yeah.
loss every once in a while. But
Oh, definitely.
either way,
The thing too is that they're first
pretty
in their division, and so
yeah,
they don't really need to rush him back as quick as possible.
yeah.
I mean
I mean, they've got a pretty solid team.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, they made
absolutely.
the
So
playoffs, and yeah,
100%, 100%. No need to rush really.
yeah. Sidney Crosby hit 600 goals, 21st to do it in history. Pretty solid, but I mean, if you play long enough, you'll eventually get there. Just saying. But
Hey, but
either way,
to
not
play
to
that,
discredit him in any
mhm.
way. I mean, that's still a great milestone. It's just he's been playing a while.
I mean he has, but to play that long, you have to be doing it at a high level to
Oh
stay
yeah,
on rosters, on top lines, on
and not
like
have
the
some
first power
career-ending
play team.
injury.
And stay healthy as well. So I mean, it's what did you say? The 21st player to do it? Is that what I saw?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look,
I
that's
mean, not too many players. Elite company.
yeah, absolutely,
Um,
man. So
but
good for old Sidney Crosby.
yeah, dog. And I know I mentioned the Avs being kind of subpar to start the season, but they've been kind of lighting things up as of late.
Until
Granted, they
last
took a
night.
bad loss last night. Yeah. I mean, honestly, the first 4 teams in that division took some pretty bad losses in the last couple games. with Stars losing to the Hurricanes 6-4, Wild losing to the Jets 4-1, Jets losing to the Predators 4-1, Avs losing to the Lightning 8-2. So, yeah, it's a great division as far as skill is concerned, and I mean it just begs the question: who's going to be that wild card playoff spot as opposed to the first three?
Yeah,
So,
well, and real quick, I do want to say, like, yeah, it's an extremely tight division. And the Avs have been making some ground up as far as, picking up some points here and there, especially that
I
impressive
mean, they've
win
been
over
injured
the
this whole time, and
Panthers.
I'm assuming they're just getting healthy.
I mean, that's true, too. I don't know. 8-2, that just seems
Their
like,
last few games, they won over like 7-2 and like 6-5. Like they're scoring a lot in the other games. This is like
okay.
one game. It's like a blip in the radar. You act like losing to the Ducks is going to be detrimental to the Stars' success.
No, 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 no. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that, like,
Just
no, you're
saying.
right. Teams lose to teams that they should be beating. Like, I don't know. It's like any day in
I
hockey.
mean, the
But that
Lightning aren't bad
eight
either.
to
They're
two,
pretty
the
solid.
Lightning are solid. The Stars beat them this past week, and I'm not. It's not
Is
always
that your
relative. No, no, I'm
criteria
not
for
saying
every
it's not
team?
always relative. But 8-2 is a nasty loss, dog. You
It
know that.
is. It's not good.
So yeah, I mean they and I. You said they were injured in the past. You're feeling that they're healthy. I know Mikko Rantanen has been scoring a hell of a lot of goals right now. We talked about Kale McCarr and Nathan
Yeah.
McKinnon
I mean,
leading
they're
in
all
points.
top. They've all
So I
got
mean,
30
like
plus
no, they're
points. It's
yeah,
ridiculous.
no, they're an impressive roster as far as the skill they have
Yeah,
on the
no.
top of their roster. Dog, 8-2 is a nasty win. Come on, dog, a nasty loss.
Boy, you're making that sound like that's the end of their franchise, boy. Get out of
Okay,
here.
I mean, all right,
Eight to
whatever.
two. They're never gonna make the playoffs. What are
I
you
didn't
talking
say
about?
that. All right, whatever.
You were
Moving
about
on.
to.
Moving on. Moving on. What you got for us?
The Red Wings played a few games, and I know that I said that they were gonna lose all of them, but they didn't. They
Oh, they
went two and
didn't.
one.
All
Yeah, they
right.
beat the Islanders both times out of the last three games, and they were pretty solid wins. We did take on the Bruins on Saturday and take a loss. It was pretty unfortunate. We're just kind of in games until the third period, and either we get an empty netter scored on us, or we tie it up and then force overtime or something, um,
Yeah.
or like tie it up and get another goal and then force them to go crazy with you know kicking the goalie out of the net. I don't know. Either way, uh, Islanders aren't that were bad of a team, but they're definitely not as good as the Red Wings. Apparently, it's good to see Berggren get a lot more action. I've seen him score a few more goals. Recently, been elevated from the AHL affiliate. Pretty solid. Him and Edvinson and what's the other guy's name? Casper, I think. They're all pretty solid, you know. I'm kind of glad we're taking a risk on these younger players, so to speak, just because, we shipped off Oli Mata, which is a pretty seasoned vet, and, just kind of got more cap space and room for the roster for all these players to play. But, pretty solid. We, unfortunately, take that loss against the Bruins. But like I said, we're kind of in the games up until that last moment. I believe it was 1-2 up until maybe like 5 minutes left to go, and then maybe we get an empty netter. So it's just unfortunate, and yeah. But the next game we play the Islanders, get up 6-4. Or sorry, that was the Bruins game. Um, but yeah, I mean, we tie it up 1-1 by the end of the first period, and I think it goes 2-2 at the beginning of the third, or maybe midway through. But at that point, it just kind of gets their, I don't know, motivation. They start trying to play more harder, and holes start adding up. We got to score another one, and yeah, easy peasy. Not too sure how it's going to look on the rest of the season, but I mean, at least there's some silver lining that comes into play with these games. But like I said before, there's got to be probably something to do with either a head coach change, some defensive change, get some added players.
Do you
Who
think
knows?
that if y'all go on a little run, let's say you win 5 of your next 7, that y'all are going to try to stick with your head coach for the remainder of the season, or do you think that they'll like still be willing to make a move at some point?
I mean, if it was me, I'd be willing to make a move at any point. But,
Sure.
obviously I'm not the one in charge. And I don't know. I mean, they've given him, I believe this is his third season or second and a half. I don't know. But they've given him a long time, and we haven't really made much of a way to get into the playoffs. I mean, last year we were, I don't know, 2, 3 games off, but we missed it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
And he looks like the penguin with no hair, so it's just kind of one of those things. I don't really want to look at him all game. So
He's just not aesthetically pleasing to you.
yeah, no. I mean, honestly, I would take Jim Montgomery, but the fact that he looks like Sheldon Keefe is just kind of weird.
He just Jim Montgomery reminds me of Michael Chiklis every time I look at him.
Yeah. He looks like is that the actor thing? The Thing
he
actor?
plays the Thing, yeah, the actor.
Yeah.
Good old Michael Chiklis. I
Yeah,
got you.
no,
So y'all are going to play some
solid.
games this upcoming week. What's your prediction?
Yeah, we're gonna take on the Flames tomorrow, Wednesday, Devils on Friday, and Canucks on Sunday. I think we're just gonna go 1-1-1. Maybe just take one loss and push it to overtime to another game. But I don't know. I feel like the Canucks will definitely beat us. I think we're all home, all 3 of these being home games. So at the very least, we have the home crowd, and the fact that the Canucks and Flames have to travel across the universe to get to the States. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully they're a bit tired and worn out from the travel, but, that almost never is the case. So, either way.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. We'll
Yeah.
see how that goes for.
We'll see you next time on What's Hockey.
For sure. The Dallas Stars this last week played 3 games. My prediction was that they'd go 2-1 with wins against the Sharks, the Lightning, and a loss to the Hurricanes, and that's exactly what happened. Against the Sharks, I mean, honestly, we kind of dominated possession a lot. Their goals coming up, both of them, I believe. No, the first one was for sure an odd man rush, which was a turnover on a power play. It was a shorthanded goal we allowed. Second one, another turnover. We do have one guy coming back. I forget exactly which player it was, but I don't think he positioned himself correctly, and it led to a Sharks goal. But I mean, Stars win 5-2. One, of course, empty netter at the end there. Again, I think we dominated, kind of played how we should for 90% of the game, but our minds shut off, and the 2 times it did, we allowed goals, so we can't have that. Against the Lightning, Sorelli opened the scoring immediately. The Lightning, it felt like a real good back and forth game, pretty even to be honest with you. But the Stars, I love the way they attack too with Lyubushkin coming in. He hits it as hard as he can, slap shot. Goes to the right of Vasilevsky, and it happens to hit the Donov skate and goes in. But I mean, that kind of luck that happens when you're going to be attacking that strongly. And I'll get to when it bite the Stars in the butt later on. But continuing with that Lightning game, I mean, Miro Heiskanen has been shooting the lights out of the puck. Just beautiful play. And speaking of beautiful play, there's a Duchesne goal where he does like a little give and go down the right wing. What?
Nothing.
Nice. Duchesne's coming down the right wing. He passed it to, God, I'm forgetting who he passed to, but he immediately gives it right back. And Duchesne, with like no angle available, puts it in the back of the net. It was gorgeous. It was incredible to see. And then I think Wyatt Johnson and was it Wyatt?
Isn't it John Stun?
It is John Stun, yeah. Johnson might have gotten the assist on that. I don't know. I'm kind of blanking on that one. My bad. But
nice
yeah. Anyway, but that line between Robertson and Wyatt both got assists there in that game. So good to see them get on that point sheet. Now going to the Hurricanes game, bro, we were dominating. It felt like we kind of changed our style where in pass, like normally we're as high flying as we can be. We're rushing the net, but sometimes that can lead to a counterattack. And so we were more conservative, trying to avoid Carolina from getting that. Like if we fuck up on one end, then Carolina's got it available on the other end. And for the majority of the game, it worked. We were attacking. It was beautiful. There was the first goal of the game. Marchment goes through his legs and tries to get a shot on. He can only barely touch it, but the goalie's out of position. Sagan puts it in. Sagan had 2 goals in that game, so he remains hot. And but dang, dude, Carolina, they had a shorty goal, so we allow another shorty goal. The Jarvis goal, that I believe that was the one that tied it, or Burns tied it and Jarvis took the lead. Jarvis shoots it, and I don't even know if it's going towards the net, if I'm being honest. Like, it looked like it was going towards the center of the ring where some other rink where some other players are. It goes off of, God, was it Heiskanen or Dumb? It was one of our defenders. Hits off a skate, goes in, and we can't answer back really in time. So Carolina ends up winning that one. They get a shorty goal at the end as well, making it 6-4.
That's pretty nice for Carolina because Seth Jarvis came back from IR pretty recently. I think within the last few days. So makes an
I wish he
immediate
stayed.
impact on
I wish he stayed a few extra
team.
days. So that was a tough loss, but not unexpected. I honestly think we played better than what I was expecting in that game. We just really have to be a lot crisper on our passes. When we turn it over, man, it just leads to them having free reign. So it's just about us crisping things up. I feel like I said that word too much. But going forward this week, we have 4 games before we record again. We've got the Blackhawks tomorrow night in Chicago. I'll say we win that one. Avalanche will come here to Dallas. You really are high on the Avalanche, but I do think the Stars take care of business there. Avalanche are deadly, man. So again, we can't have turnovers.
I'm not saying that they're the best team in the fucking NHL. I'm saying that they're a playoff team.
And the Jets will also be here on Sunday. Jets have given us fits, man. I'll be honest, I don't feel great about that game. So I'll say the Jets.
You would be scared of the Jets. Dude, they lost to the Predators. Come on.
I mean, but just against the Stars, they've played well against us, and so I don't feel fantastic.
The Stars just aren't good,
All right, dude. And lastly, we play Utah, and that'll be in Utah.
This is the best name ever.
The heat that Utah started with this season, I think some of that's dissipated, and so I'll say the Stars take care of business.
That's cooled off.
3-1.
That's fizzled. Dog.
All right. So that's how we feel about our teams. Let's talk about some other teams playing. Last week, Keaton, you and I picked some games against the spread. You went 5-2, and I went 2-5. So you did.
I just know a lot about hockey. I don't know.
There's only 2 games for us to pick today, but I'm just saying you did fantastic last week. You moved your overall record to 13-9, while I'm at a very lame 10-12. So I won't be able to tie you this week, but we will see what we can do. What's that?
We'll see what we can see.
That doesn't make sense. Oh no, that does.
Today we've got Canucks at Bruins and Hockey Club at Canadians.
And it's currently Canucks plus 1.5 in that one. Who do you think is going to take that?
I'm going to take the Canucks. I know they recently fired Jim Montgomery, but Montgomery was a pretty solid coach, and while they did start mediocrity, that's not a word, but they started off pretty bad and average. I don't think that they're gonna get this done. I mean, I like Mark McAvoy and Cooley and all those guys. I hate Marchand; he's a bitch. But other than that, they play a solid game. I just feel like they don't really put pucks on net as often as they should from game to game. And it seems like they can only really score like 1 to 2 goals a game. So it's just kind of a weird. I know they're more defensive. At least beforehand, they were a lot more defensive. So it could change a lot with a new head coach. Who knows? But I'm definitely taking the Canucks in this one.
Yeah, I
So
too am going Canucks plus 1.5. The second game, it's the Hockey Club and the Canadiens. The spread in that one is Canadiens plus 1.5. Who do you got in that one, Keaton?
I'm taking the Hockey Club in this one because while they have fizzled out, they have not fizzled out just as bad as the Canadians have. They're pretty bad. I think they're even lower than the Red Wings right now, which is saying something. So, yeah, not too good on that end. So,
I'm going to go ahead and say at home, I'll take Montreal plus 1.5. I won't pretend to be super confident in that, but they've had some shock games where they beat Edmonton. They've beat the Blue Jackets, who have gotten a little better this year. They've had some competitive games, so
yeah,
plus 1.5. I'll say that they clutch it for me. Keaton, we always have the prize pick segment at the end. We had another week where we went 0 for 2. I had Draisaitl.
Hey, I went DNP. I got my money back at least.
Fair enough. You did get DNP, so you don't lose technically.
Good old Seth Jones didn't want to play that day, so.
Dude, I had Morrissey getting no assists, and this guy gets 2. Like, come on, man. But anyway.
Yeah, you just don't know anything about
it was just an awful prediction on my end. But
yeah, they were green as. The
one that failed was not green. Morrissey's was just a straight up line.
Yeah, because it wasn't green. I meant like the bet itself was green, like as in good to go.
Nice. So this week, I'm going to go ahead and say Quinn Hughes gets over 24.25 minutes. He's done it every single game except last game where he got ejected. First time in his career.
I think that was his first. Yeah, first career ejection and everything, which is wild.
So he's got some fresh legs, and he does it anyway. So I'm Quinn Hughes over 24.25 minutes, and then also Charlie McAvoy to get over 1.5 shots on goal.
What a beast.
I mean, he's been doing it. He should do it. There's no reason for him to let me down there.
You never know, dog. He could let you down.
I clearly don't ever know.
I've got Charlie McAvoy myself at over 1.5 hits. So, I mean, I feel like that game is going to be real physical. So, I've got, DeBrusk going over on 1.5 hits too. So, like I said, just going to be a real physical game. I think everybody's just going to come out hitting, and it's just going to be hard to score. It'll be a game.
It'll be a game. All right. Well, that sounds good. Hopefully at least one of us clutches this. This is embarrassing, Keaton.
It's not going to happen.
We'll see how it goes. I think that'll do it for us. Keaton, did I miss anything?
I don't think so, but we'll see next time on What's Hockey.
All right. Peace out.